there's news today in the Karmelo Anthony case. The Collin County DA, his name is Greg Willis, is speaking out for the first time since Karmelo Anthony filed this motion for a new trial. They filed it right away after the conviction. It was July 7th they filed. As a reminder, last month, a jury rejected Karmelo's self-defense arguments. They found him guilty of murdering 17-year-old Austin Metcalf after stabbing Austin in the chest for no apparent reason at a track and field meet in April of last year down in Frisco, Texas. Both of the boys were 17 at the time of the stabbing. That same jury sentenced Karmelo to 35 years in prison. Then Karmelo got a brand new legal team right after the conviction. And one of the arguments the brand new legal team is making on appeal is that they want a new trial. And one of the arguments that they're positing is that the prosecution, they say, breached an undocumented pretrial agreement between the prosecution and the defense, in which both sides allegedly pledged not to introduce, quote, character evidence, character, reputation, or extraneous conduct evidence concerning either Austin Metcalf, the victim, his brother Hunter, his twin brother, or the defendant, Karmelo Anthony. We're not going to do character evidence on any of these. And the defense really wants us to know in their filing that they had negative things they could have said about Austin, the dead 17-year-old, and his brother. And they list some of it there. Like, oh, we held off because of this gentleman's agreement. And we were told that the prosecution would hold off with respect to Karmelo. The filing describes the agreement as, quote, off the record, which is a weird term because we use that in journalism, but it's atypical in a legal proceeding. I mean, like a secret off the record agreement between the prosecution and the defense, what we're not going to introduce in a case involving a 17-year-old potentially going to jail for the rest of his life. It's weird. All of it's weird. But now Karmelo's lawyers claim that the prosecution violated the agreement in the course of the trial when they informed the court on the final day of testimony that the pact would not apply to Karmelo Anthony if he took the stand in his own defense. And they also said, by the way, Karmelo's attorneys, they were the first to breach this deal if we had it, because they opened the door to character evidence when in their opening statement, they mentioned that Karmelo Anthony played chess. So if we secretly had an agreement not to offer any character or extraneous evidence about, who these kids are in their free time, why'd you mention that? Now, according to Karmelo Anthony's lawyers, Karmelo then only had 10 minutes to decide whether or not to testify after learning that the prosecution might indeed bring up character or reputation in a cross-examination of him. And he ultimately decided not to take the stand. They're suggesting as a result of knowing the prosecution was going to introduce character evidence. That decision was incredibly controversial since his entire defense was self-defense. And, you heard here and elsewhere, a lot of lawyers say you can't really effectively make a self-defense claim without testifying, without having the defendant testify. So now this is his defense team trying to justify their decision. So Karmelo's trial attorney was a guy named Mike Howard. He's not part of the appeal. We introduced you to this guy. Remember, he had that little video like, oh, geez, I'm just a sweet guy. I'm like this nice guy who gets along with opposing counsel. In fact, we have that. I'm going to play part of it, not all of it. Stop 20, watch here.
So what kind of lawyer do you want? Do you want an aggressive junkyard dog who's going to fight for you hard? Or do you want somebody who has a reputation as, easy to get along with? The answer might surprise you. While, of course, it's important to have somebody who fights for your rights.
And he goes on to say, I'm the second kind. So I'm like the nice guy. Want to keep going. So that's Mike Howard. Now, he's not part of the appeal, but he was the trial lawyer. And he wrote in an affidavit that his client's decision not to testify was, quote, a 180-degree change in the defense strategy. And it was a direct consequence of the breach of this gentleman's agreement. So now the DA is speaking out and disputing what's in that filing, as I just outlined to you, speaking to CBS, CBS Texas's J.D. Miles, who obtained the trial's transcripts. Watch here.
It's clear that many of these claims don't match what actually happened in court.
Collin County DA Greg Willis says the trial transcripts obtained by CBS News Texas refute those claims when the judge and attorneys met behind closed doors during the trial to discuss whether Anthony would take the stand. During a discussion about the agreement, Howard says, I agree that deal, for lack of a better term, has held. I believe both parties have abided by it. The agreement became a problem for defense attorneys because it would limit what they could ask Anthony without violating it, and because Judge Roach was not bound by it, telling both sides, I am not here to enforce agreements between parties in a criminal case. If asked to make a ruling, it will be based on the rules of evidence.
So by the way, you heard him there saying the agreement became a problem for the defense attorneys because it would limit what they could ask Anthony, defense attorneys could ask Anthony if he were to take the stand. So the defense could not introduce, you've never been in trouble before, have you, son? They couldn't do that. And they, according to that report, they were the ones who were upset about that deal. CBS Texas also reports that the transcripts refute Karmelo's claim that he only had 10 minutes to decide whether or not to testify.
Howard's new affidavit says he was 99% sure before the trial that Anthony would testify. He blames part of the reason he didn't on being rushed during the closed-door hearing and the judge declining to extend our time beyond 10 minutes. But the trial transcript shows that behind closed doors, the judge gave Anthony a lengthy explanation of his rights and that the defense had more than a half hour beyond that to consider their next move, even allowing Anthony to consult with his parents before telling the judge, "I don't want to testify." Did you think you had ample time to talk to your lawyers about that and got feedback from them, feedback from your family? You have had enough time to make that decision. Anthony replied, "Yes, sir, we did." What was your reaction to seeing this affidavit?
I was surprised, I was disappointed, and frankly, a little confused. I mean, I was there for every minute of the trial, and Bill Wersky and our prosecution team, they conducted this case so fairly and cleanly and professionally.
We asked Karmelo's new legal team, as well as his trial attorney, for comment on what the DA said there. We have not yet heard back. We'll update if we do. The DA expressed confidence that Karmelo's conviction would be upheld. CBS Texas reports a hearing on the motion for a new trial could be held as early as next month. Still with me, attorneys Arthur Aidala, Dave Ehrenberg, and Matt Murphy. This is a juicy.
So we're going to stop there. Welcome in everybody to the No Middleman. We're going to be speaking about character tonight. And I wanted to start off with this because Karmelo Anthony starting Wednesday, the 19th and the 20th, they're going to be fighting for, not really fighting for a new trial because he will get another trial, but they are trying to put in new motions for like to dismiss the previous trial due to things of this nature. With that being said, I do want to bring up something for you guys. This is actually from Yahoo as well. Yahoo News talks about the Karmelo Anthony case. They're claiming that the attorneys claimed a secret gentleman agreement hurt the actual defense. So for those who don't know, and I don't know if this is new to y'all, it's new to me, but
new to me.
So they actually shook hands. The prosecutor and defense agreed that neither one would speak on either one of the kids' character, not the Metcalf family children character or Karmelo character. It says more than 2 months after Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder, Texas teen Austin Metcalf, a news report that Anthony's legal team entered into a gentleman's agreement that prohibited certain evidence from being presented to the jurors. So it goes on to talk a little bit more there. You guys can go on Yahoo News. It talks about that it blocked the information because they wanted this not to be a trial about each person's character, but about the incident at hand. Now, we can't play Tuesday or Monday morning quarterback, but it sounds like that would have actually helped Anthony's case more than it would have hurt Anthony's case. With that being said, there are some things too that probably could have been said about, the Anthony family or questions they could have asked. I mean, what kid hasn't been in trouble? Not every kid is in trouble with the law, but there's something that could make you change the way you look at a person due to their character or things that they have done in the past. On No Middleman, Souls always speaks about your character will perceive you. Like your character will get to a place before you get there. That was something I learned early in my military career, is that the way people think about you at one place will already be told at the next place before you get there. So a lot of times you're playing recovery, depending on what your character was like, or you going into a good situation that's going to just lead you into an even better situation. So just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this because, again, Karmelo Anthony dad actually put a post out on Facebook for those who are on Facebook, which I thought was a very powerful post about asking everybody to unite and be together. They talk about it on that video. They actually played it and read it. But he's asking everybody to come out to the courthouse in a peaceful protest, but just to be able to get a better outcome and show that he wanted his son to see everybody who was actually standing up for him in person. So for anybody who's in the Frisco area or in the Texas area that would like to do that, I would highly encourage you guys to go down because anybody who's been watching No Middleman, I knew he was going to get time, but I don't think the young man needs 35 years in prison. That's my opinion. But with that being said, how do you guys feel about this gentleman's agreement that blocked a character reference from being talked about on both sides? And do you guys feel like this could have possibly had benefited Karmelo? And how do you guys feel about it in totality?
I would say it would have helped. It would have helped him.
Yeah.
Because the things that I heard about the Metcalf kid was him and his brother, that they were both like kind of bullies. You know what I mean? Like they was kind of the quote unquote tough guys around the school. So it would have justified in a sense of why he was, but they didn't go to the same school. But that narrative would have, probably lessened the time that he received.
Yeah.
Had they known that type of character from the Metcalf kid. So yeah, that hurt. I think that hurt his defense. But his attorney to do that, that was kind of, I would say, silly. I was kind of silly to make that agreement. I don't understand why he would do that, because I mean, from my understanding, Karmelo's never been in trouble. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. I heard that he's never really been in trouble, but I heard that the Metcalf kid was actually suspended at the time.
Yeah.
And that would hold a lot of weight. So for him to make that gentleman's agreement, that was some poor counsel. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that, Plug. Because obviously the prosecutors found it beneficial for them to agree to that gentleman's agreement as well. Somehow his defense attorneys did not think that all the way through, because if they would have thought that all the way through, then they would have told them no. Because how can your character is who you are? How can you judge somebody and not know who they are? So to present yourself, up here on a stand, and he didn't even get a chance to talk about himself and to even talk about the incident and how he felt everything happened and went through his testimony. So I feel that his defense attorneys failed him miserably. Yeah, they did a bad job. Yeah, miserably. They did a bad job. I think, of course, yes, he should serve some time, but 35 years was a bit much for a young man who claimed self-defense. First of all, yes, he did in somebody's life. That at the end of the day, somebody's life was lost, and we've said that since day one. But for the defense to agree to this, I'm assuming that the prosecutors are the ones that brought this up. I don't think the defense would have said, hey, we're not going to talk about character. We're going to leave it to the facts of the case. I don't think the defense even brought that up. It had to have been, my assumption is that it was from the prosecutor side.
No, it was from both.
It was from both?
Yeah, they both agreed.
Yeah.
I know they both agreed, but who initially?
Right here, according to the documents via Daily Mail, Howard planned his case around the understanding that neither side would introduce the agreed upon evidence. So they both agreed. This wasn't no like, and y'all can go find all this on the actual site in Texas. Yeah. You could actually, these are public files now. Like you can go see all the transcripts. You can see all this information. So they both agreed. It wasn't one-sided. They the only thing people didn't understand, even the judge said it. Like, I'm not here to honor handshake agreements. Like,
yeah.
So I
have
wonder
a question for both of y'all.
Go ahead.
Do you think that
just
we all are in agreement that was kind of dumb on the defense side of the fence? Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
That was kind of a poor move.
A horrible move.
Yeah.
So would you think that they all in cahoots?
Of course. But we also talked about this, right? We talked about the black attorneys that didn't want to touch Karmelo prior to this.
Yeah.
Like, he finally got him a good team now, and people who are pushing back, looking through the files. But you think about a lot of this possibly could have been prevented.
Yeah.
He could have been coached. He could have been coached better on how to actually present himself, because you got to think about it. Hey, talk about me, because they're going to have to talk about them too.
Yeah.
like I look at, like, I'll take that. I'll take that battle. You know what I mean? My character versus your character. I'll take that battle.
And even the 30 minutes that they gave him It's still not enough. You're dealing with a child that's never been in court before in his life. All the jargon and the language that you're using, the verbiage in which you're using, does not make any sense. It's gibberish. To even you have to be very savvy in the court of law to understand that. The verbiage there in which they're using. You're asking him this question. He's already terrified. His mind is discombobulated. His life is on the line. Man.
And I do want to read this because the defense did give a reason why they agreed to this. And I want, again, everybody go read it yourself. It's on Yahoo News. It says, according to the report of the Daily Mail published on August the 13th, Anthony, 19, was a victim of family violence. Both the defense and the prosecution kept that information from jurors during the trial. So it sounds, yeah. It looked like they were trying to protect. It's right. Just in case people think it's a. Let me show it on the screen.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's what I think. So they were trying to cover for the family as well. It's right here. It says in reliance upon the agreement, the defense also did not go into substantial family violence after Anthony had witnessed and been a victim of in his home. The document was filed on July the 7th. Read per the outlet. So you can go find this public record again. So at the same time, this could be, it could have been either way, right? Because
some told me to put on my Charleston. Hey, that's why Charleston was snapping, because that's all he do is read them documents. Yeah, and that's probably why he called him what he called him.
So you think about it, right? They just didn't sit down and talk to Karmelo. They said he had time to talk to his parents. So I'm sure at the same time they sat in their hallway and said, "Hey,
if you can't bring this up,
if you take the stand, they're going to start judging your family and your upbringing. That's going to look like you come from a violent household. It's going to look like you did this because you." So this is, again, here at No Middleman, we're going to, I'm going to follow this new trial all the way through, because.
Boy, you just gave me something that changed the whole. Damn, that changed the whole.
But I will say this, guys, and I'm trying to do better at this. I will say this though, it's still not right. I don't care what he went through at home, at his house. It doesn't justify 35 years.
No.
So again, I would have took. Let's put everything out on the playing field, because I'm sure if they went into Metcalf, they both already had allegedly DV and stuff, right? Apparently,
they both come from violence.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those win-win, but I understand as a family, you got to come in and present as a unit and understand how you want things to look. With this being said, I kind of hate that this even got out now, though.
Yeah, I don't like that
because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. But but you know how angry you would have to be. You know how much disdain you have to have in your heart to want to break your father's arm.
I agree.
That's a lot of anger, bro.
Yeah. I definitely agree, especially at a young age.
That was one pressure. That was one of the things that had me leaning so far toward the self-defense situation, because I knew of that. So if especially just seeing that, just anything being, because I was an angry kid. I was an angry kid, and the force in which I used, even in situations that should have been lighter, was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? So I can just imagine that young kid, man. an unfortunate situation, man.
Yeah.
A life was took and two lives were lost, but this is unfortunate.
Yeah, but I also think it's very important for you guys to really catch on to the theme of the night, right? Character. You know, the who, the why, the what, because again, the reputation of a family also affected a young man. You see what I mean? Something he witnessed in his household, right, that he had no control over, possibly affected the outcome. So even when we start thinking about situations fully on, everything you do today affects tomorrow. I know a lot of people look at certain things as like people backing down or not being confrontational, but I always tell people I'm going to live by this. Your character will perceive you. I'm telling you. And silence is golden. I'd rather people be on the fence about you than feel like they have a valid point about you. So just something to think about when it comes to character, man. We're going to be talking about character throughout the night tonight. But I thought this was just an amazing topic, man, because again, I do want to follow the Karmelo Anthony case throughout. He has a great attorney. He has a great legal team here in Dallas-Fort Worth now. They had a conference where they brought all families to a church and taught everybody about the justice system and broke everything down to the Black community, which is very vital for people to understand this trial moving forward. So I'm telling y'all, man, like amazing. I'm telling y'all. So we're gonna be keeping it close, man. Now I'm talking about, man. Thank you, plug with the member for 2 months. You know what I mean? Member for 2 months, man. Boy, y'all say Black people ain't faithful. Y'all say Black people ain't faithful. And shout out to Plug, man. Plug for the 19 ball putting this show together. Appreciate you, big dog, man. Appreciate you. So we're gonna read through some of these comments, unless y'all got anything y'all want to add on the tail end. But we will be following this very closely on No Middleman.
Yeah.
So,
man,
all right, Rain, let me see where I can start. We appreciate everybody in too on Facebook side as well. I try to acknowledge y'all because it's a smaller pool. But shout out to everybody in the chat: Skull, Penny, Super Mac, Jen, Marty, Miles. Happy birthday to Miles, y'all. Everybody say happy birthday to Miles. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, happy birthday, Miles, man. Y'all shout out to Miles, man. Miles, put your Cash App or something in the chat. Y'all pay that man for his birthday, man.
Buy him a drink.
Yeah, buy him a drink tonight, man. We appreciate you.
Buy you a drink.
So we're gonna get started here, right there.
Penny said that double speak is strong within her. Gun show, hey, gun show, somebody who's going to fight.
Talking about the new team.
Penny said the things that are done in the dark. Penny said, so when the lawyer gets some charges or get some consequences, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
BG said, nah, ain't no way the defense fell for a trap like that. They did. Penny said, like and subscribe because we care about character. Yes, indeed.
I like that one, really.
And BG said, prosecutors and defense shook hands, but the court of public opinion, witnesses, etc., didn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Penny said, no 35 years within the OF model. Oh, when the OF model got 6.
And Penny, I want to shout out to Penny because your comparison has been used all over the internet.
All over the internet.
I have seen over 300 different shows comparing Karmelo Anthony's case to this OnlyFans case. So shout out to Penny, man, for that comparison, man.
Gunshow said it could have helped him.
Yeah. Until we got that last piece of news.
His attorney seems like he really didn't have his back. Skull said if they were suspended, they wasn't supposed to be on school property.
That is big facts, Skull.
Super Mac said, sup, oh.
What's up, Super Mac?
Penny said, that's not complete representation if they making deals to exclude info. I guess it's just the American way. Penny said, what's up, Super Mac? BG said, if my life is on the line, you better not depend on a handshake agreement. It's like he had a court-appointed attorney or something.
That's big facts. That's big facts, BG.
Mm-hmm. Miles said Anthony was probably misled. Misled, misguided, misrepresented, all that. BG said this is utter foolishness. Penny said crazy part is he said the parents agreed to it as well, but he was a victim though. Supermax said Penny sharing alive 100. Penny said so fam sold him out.
Hold on.
Penny said I feel your souls, but if it's the white boy with the violent fam, he's America's sweetheart that was put in an impossible position. But a black kid, a product of the environment. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I said I would have put my character against theirs regardless.
Sco with the fire emojis. Sco said, I can tell from the icebreaker it's going to be a fire show.
Appreciate it, Sco.
Miles said, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And he said, it's the second trial for a shorter sentence. Can't see it being overturned.
Yeah, I think they're fighting for a lesser charge. It'll be great. Yeah. How long has he been in there so far?
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, he coming up on some months, so I mean, but I think everything's going to turn around for him in a positive manner, man. But we'll keep you guys up to breast for sure. But I just thought it was very interesting, man. And so shout out to y'all, man, in the chat that's keeping everything alive. Shout out to Plug for the super chat and the membership. We appreciate everybody. Skull with the membership as well, Jen, Marty, everybody. So we appreciate you guys. So we're gonna move on. Y'all already know, man. We got the white black girl news anchor, only one on YouTube, better known as On the Radar with Rain.